day 21 of Vlogmas, something like that. I don't know what we're doing.
You could do that.
I can't do it with you. I can never do it with you. It was really bad last year too.
Welcome to day 21 of Vlogmas.
You totally started that for me because I've tried multiple times and failed.
Yeah, it was getting far too awkward, so I thought I'd just break the ice.
Welcome to day 21 of Vlogmas. Today's Vlogmas is a bit different. As I mentioned yesterday, we are travelling down to Leicester tomorrow, and I'm getting my days all in the muddle because you will get this video on Saturday, but we're travelling down tomorrow, which is Friday,
Yesterday.
and it's currently Thursday night for us.
But yesterday for you.
But yesterday for you.
Currently it's the day before yesterday for you. We're travelling down to Leicester yesterday. But yeah.
Yeah, very confusing. Anyway, earlier in the month, a couple of times actually earlier in the month, I put out a call for some questions on Instagram that people would want to ask me and Tom to put together a little kind of question and answer video because yesterday, is going to be really boring because we're basically going to be in the car for most of the day. So I thought we would have a little bit of fun and do a question and answer video. So yeah, we're here. We're both sat on the sofa. Tom has a beer. I have a hideously fluorescent orange mock cocktail wine drink thingy, which is all right actually. It's quite nice.
What is it?
It's a mango daiquiri wine cocktail.
Mango daiquiri flavoured alcohol drink.
Yeah, a mango daiquiri flavoured alcohol drink. So that's what this is. It looks...
It looks like that.
Yeah. Anyway, I have a list of questions on my lap from all of you. And we thought we'd give it a go. This is going to get very awkward. This is going to get really random. But let's see where we go with it. Okay, so question number 1 is actually to Tom.
Ooh.
It says, has he ever tried knitting or crochet? And if not, would you be tempted to give it a go?
Well, it's funny you should mention that because I have here a pile of my own knitting. It's a pile that consists of 2 items. I'll show them in the order in which I knitted them. Nat them? Is that right?
No.
Knitted. Here we go. Here's a hat. I'll do the podcast thing. It's just a simple hat with a rib and a top. And what was it? Dye candy.
The yarn is dye candy, yeah.
Colourway is blue. Although you can see that it has colours other than blue in it. So it's a bit misleading. Which
you fell in love with at Perth.
Yes.
Tom came to Perth to visit me because he'd not been to one of my yarn shows yet. So he came to Perth, and while he was wandering around Perth, he fell in love with this skein from Dye Candy. And he said to me, "Oh, I've got to buy this yarn. Can I buy this yarn? And can you knit me a hat?" At which point I was like, I've got so much yarn in my stash that is for you that I'm never going to get round to knitting. If you want to buy yarn, you're going to have to learn to knit.
So I did.
So he did.
Well, kind of.
No, you have. You're doing really, really well. So he knit a hat. The pattern I used is...
It's Mina Phillips, isn't it?
It's a Mina Phillips, yeah, Knitting Expat. I think it was the mix and match hat.
Yeah.
But we did the very basic, just a straightforward rib and then stockinette hat.
Yeah, I won't show you my decreases.
Your decreases weren't too bad. There's a couple of little holes, but it's
Yep.
not bad for a first ever knitting project.
Ventilated.
Yeah. Go on, and you want to show off your second one, don't you?
Yep. Here's a cowl.
And the pattern for this one was a Tin Can Knits pattern. Simple yet effective, I think is what it was called.
Yep.
And the yarn
It's Black Elephant.
was Black Elephant. And I think the colourway was called Mudbound.
Yes. Maybe. I don't know.
I think so. And they're both DK. He's very, very proud of them. And I think he should be, don't you?
Yeah.
And you're currently working on something else.
Yes. Currently, using leftover yarn from my hat.
I've just remembered what you're making.
Currently making At the request of Arthur, a blanket for Pikachu.
Arthur has a cuddly Pikachu. It's about this big, so not massive. Yeah, you've got a little way to go.
Getting there.
And he's requested that Pikachu needs a blanket. So we're basically just using the grandma's favourite washcloth pattern. Not putting the holes in. And he's just going to knit a great big square.
I'm practicing my increases and decreases.
But exactly, it's a brilliant pattern for that because it has got increases and decreases and everything like that. So yeah, Tom is now a knitter. Yeah.
And I've got a Christmas Eve cast on planned.
Yeah.
We dug out the yarn today, didn't we?
Yes. I have some bad news about the yarn.
Oh, someone bought it?
Yeah.
Oh. I don't have a Christmas Eve cast on.
You need to choose another colourway.
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay.
Anyway, let's move on. While we're on the topic of, I'm literally just going to go through this list in order, so they might be in a slightly random order. Next question: what is your favourite hand knitted item?
You go first.
I'm going to go first. Okay, I did bring mine with me. It was hard to choose, but I think my favourite hand knitted item has to be my that's it. Move out the way. Exploration station. I absolutely loved knitting this, and I absolutely love wearing it, and yeah, it was just one of the most fun knits I have ever done. So that's the Exploration Station, which is a Stephen West pattern, and I used various yarns.
I'm very impressed with your colour choices.
I know, I was quite impressed with my colour choices. A bit subtler for me.
Good. The dark teal colour really works.
It does. I won't go through all the colourways. I might have a Ravelry project page for it. I'm not sure. If not, I did talk about it on the podcast, but I don't know which one.
It's only got 4 colours.
What about you? What's your favourite hand knitted item?
My favourite hand knitted item is not one that I knit myself. Unlike someone picking their own knitting.
I knit it as well.
Something that Helen knit. And it is scrappy socks. They are incredible. I think you'll agree. Unique. Ridiculous. And it's good because now she only needs to knit me one at a time.
Not that I've knit you another one.
Not that she's knit me another one. So yeah.
Yeah.
Are you going to tell them all the colourways?
Oh God, no, I don't know. I don't know. I had a whole load of random scraps sent to me a couple of years ago, I think, as part of Get Your Yarn Wishes Granted, and they were all sock yarn scraps, and there were quite a few Desert Vista Dye Works colourways in there. And I think that's kind of so there's a mix of random things that I've got no idea what they are.
The main reason I've learnt to knit is that
I've stopped knitting for you.
Helen stopped knitting for me, and I've been asking her for a cardigan for like 3 years, and I've resigned myself to the fact I'll have to knit a cardigan myself, but I need to learn how to knit properly first.
Yeah.
And then spend 3 years knitting my own cardigan.
Yeah. Okay, next thing. Right. This is kind of to you, I think, really. What is your favourite thing and the worst thing about living with a yarn dyer?
Okay, worst thing first. It's like giving feedback on an essay. You do the bad and then you finish on the good. The smell. not of Helen, of the yarn dyeing. So the vinegar, wet wool. Yeah,
I dye with vinegar. A lot of people dye with citric acid, and citric acid doesn't smell.
Oh, maybe you should do that.
Maybe I should, but then I worry I'd have to change all my recipes, and I can't just get citric acid at the supermarket.
Yeah, I mean there's mess in the kitchen, but that's fine. But I think the smell is probably the worst thing.
Yeah, you kind of get used to it though.
You do. Yeah. And then the best thing, I think, is all of the beautiful yarn that you make.
Oh.
And getting to see it all. It's quite special. I used to keep up with all the dyeing, all the colourways, but I've lost track now because she's just too much awesome. So I think that's the best thing. It's being privy to all of the beautiful creations that you make.
I paid him to say
Yep.
Okay, next one's also for you. Do you help your wife, i.e. me, just in case you were confused?
Not my other wife.
No. With her yarn business, such as skein yarns and things like that.
I think I skeined a yarn once and you redid it. So I post stuff occasionally.
Yeah. To be fair, it's a tough question because you don't help me with the day-to-day work.
No, I mean occasionally I spin a load or.
Yeah. So sometimes if
like
I've got yarn in to soak, sort of like having a rinse out after I've dyed it and I've not got round to spinning it, he'll spin it and hang it up to dry for me and things like that. But not the general kind of day-to-day stuff.
No.
But what you do is take the kids off my hands so that I can get work done.
Yeah.
So quite often, if I've got a really busy time at the weekend, Tom will take the boys out for a day at the weekend, and more often than not, certainly this term when I've had very, very minimal childcare, Tom will get home from work and he will sort out the boys' tea and the boys' bedtime and everything like that, so that I can then work for a couple of hours and get, I don't know, minis made, yarn wound, things packaged and stuff like that.
Yeah,
so
I'm not sure I see that as helping though. That's just being a dad.
Well, it is being a dad, but
yeah.
Yeah, but it does help.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Help. And I help sometimes with some of your things.
You have helped. You didn't help so much this year, because I think you just had to look after the children because they were chaos. But last year you helped me package all the advents.
I did, yes.
Yeah.
Okay. A bit, I guess, is the answer.
Oh, this is a personal one. How did we meet each other?
Oh, that's one for you to tell, I think.
He likes me to tell the story of how we met.
Go on.
Okay. We both lived in Cornwall, and we both kind of grew up in Cornwall. I think you moved down when you were 12, and I moved down when were you 10 and I was 12? I don't know, something like that. And we both had a summer job together. So I think it was between my second and third year of uni, and just after your third year, but before you started your masters.
Yes.
I think, wasn't it? Yeah. And we had a summer job together. Both of us worked at I can't even say it now. Goonhilly Satellite Earth Station.
Experience.
Oh, is it Goonhilly Satellite Earth Station Experience?
That's what it was called, yeah.
God, that's quite a mouthful, isn't it?
Yeah, no wonder it closed down.
Yeah. Which is on the Goonhilly Downs on the Lizard. And basically it was kind of, I don't really know how to explain it.
It was a satellite Earth station.
It was a satellite Earth station.
Earth station on the Earth for receiving satellite signals.
Well, there you go. That's a really good one. Yeah. See, I can't remember any of it.
Rather than the satellite, it was the satellite Earth station, and it had big dishes, massive satellite dishes for receiving the signals, and it was the site where they received the first ever transatlantic satellite signal.
There we go.
Back in the 1960s.
I can't remember.
I just remember the date. Come on.
No.
It was on the tour.
No.
No?
We had to do bus tours. The bus tours went around the site, and we had this whole sort of speech presentation thingy that we had to give out on the bus tours. And yeah, it was good fun. It was a good summer, actually. It was a really good summer.
I learned a lot about satellite communications.
Yeah, clearly. I obviously didn't. I was obviously far more enamoured by the boy.
Yeah. Geostationary orbits.
Anyway.
Arthur C. Clarke.
Yeah.
Space debris tracking.
Amusingly, the main satellite dish that was out the front of the visitor centre where we worked was called Arthur. Completely unrelated as to why our oldest child is called Arthur. But a nice coincidence. So that's how we met, yeah.
Yeah. You've covered most of it.
I think that's it.
Yeah.
There we go. Okay, this is a good one, and I'm going to give this one to Tom. You ready for this one?
Am I?
Yeah, this is Lizzie's question.
Oh, it's okay.
What's the largest animal you could single-handedly cling film to a lamppost?
Ooh, single-handedly. That limits things.
He seems to be taking the question far more seriously than I was expecting.
I don't think it was, so like, there's lots of big animals you could probably get to a lamppost with cling film, but doing it single-handedly makes it maybe a sloth, because they don't move very quick. And it would probably hang on anyway.
But can't sloths actually move quite quickly when they need to?
Yeah, but if it was a docile one, or one that wanted to be on the lamppost, then like the cling film is just like for show.
It's just for show. It's just so that it could be even more lazy and relax even more.
Yeah, well, if it's laying sideways. I don't know, maybe like a small dog. Okay, it depends how resistant the animal is.
Yeah. I think between the two of us, we could probably manage to cling film a cow to a lamppost.
I know, they're pretty heavy. Does it have to be off the ground or just to the lamppost?
No.
Like if it's on the ground and just attached to the lamppost, then that opens up a whole.
Yeah, that's true.
raft
Or
of
if it has to actually could you imagine that, a cow on its back attached to a lamppost with its legs sticking out sideways,
cling filmed.
cling filmed?
Yeah.
You know, that wouldn't be.
I could imagine that.
Yeah.
So I guess it depends a lot on the willingness of the animal, and whether it has to be on the ground.
Yeah.
If it's a very willing animal and it has to be on the ground, you could probably do an elephant, right? Because it would just stand there quite happily, and you just need a lot of cling film. Whereas if it's something that's fighting back and has to be in the air, then I don't know, maybe like a hamster.
Yeah, I was going to say a goldfish. I guess that's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not sure it would fight back.
No, exactly. That'd be okay. Anyway. Thank
That's
you
a
so
good
much, Lizzie,
question.
for that question. Favourite Christmas movie?
Die Hard.
I knew you were going to say that.
Well, it's controversial whether or not it's a Christmas movie.
It's a Christmas movie.
It's set at
It's
Christmas.
a Christmas movie. I think everybody accepts nowadays that Die Hard is a Christmas movie.
I've heard debates.
But
But yeah, I go with Die Hard.
I don't know the name of my favourite Christmas movie. Because I can never remember it. And I thought we'd got it last year when we bought the Santa Claus.
Right.
But that wasn't the one that I thought it was.
Miracle on 34th Street.
No.
After Christmas.
No. Oh, God, he's just going to name Christmas movies now, knowing that they're not the right one. It was one I used to watch as a kid. And you had a little boy or a girl. Oh, I can't remember. Anyway, Father Christmas, there was an elf and there was Father Christmas. And then, anyway, the bit that I really remember is that it could be any Christmas movie. I know.
Apart from Die Hard, it doesn't have any elves.
But there was a bit where you had a girl who was really, really rich and she was visited by Santa. And then she found this boy who was really, really poor and homeless. And Santa organised or something for them to become friends. And then, I don't know. I can't really remember what it was called.
Muppet Christmas Carol as a close second.
Yeah, that's a good one. I do like the Santa Claus though, as well. That is one of my other favourite ones.
Yeah, that's the first time I saw it was last year.
Was it? Really?
Yeah.
That's a classic.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah. We're not very good at watching Christmas movies, are we? We keep thinking we'll sit down and watch a Christmas movie and then
then we didn't get around to it.
we don't get round to it.
We're supposed to be watching one tonight, but
we are supposed to be watching Die Hard
instead.
tonight, but we are doing this instead. And
Scrooged.
It's nearly 9 o'clock.
Scrooged is good.
I don't think I've seen Scrooged.
I think I made you watch it once, but we were doing something else at the same time. With Bill Murray.
I don't really remember.
It's good. He's a TV executive playing the role of Ebenezer Scrooge.
Vaguely.
It's like a retelling.
Okay.
With Bill Murray being Scrooge. Being that in itself sounds brilliant. Bill Murray being Scrooge. Depends if you like Bill Murray, I guess.
Yeah. Right, next one is another favourite. Favourite board game or favourite game?
Oh my goodness, you have to go
We'll
first.
go with favourite board games. Right, mine is actually quite easy. The board game I love is a game called Betrayal at House on the Hill. I always want to say Haunted House on the Hill and it throws me.
It's not always haunted.
No, Betrayal at House on the Hill. And it's brilliant. It's kind of a supernatural mystery game. And you build a house, you get little tiles, and the tiles respond to the ground floor, the basement, or the upper floor. And the game is played in kind of two parts. So the first part of the game, you are exploring the house. Your characters are exploring the house, and as you explore, you turn over the tiles and you build a mansion, basically. And then at some point during that exploration, what they call the haunt starts. And it all depends on like a certain card being drawn in a certain room. And then you have a special book which has all the different haunts in. And depending on what card got turned up in what room depends on which haunt you get. And then once that happens, you know, different things happen. They're all different. Like, so some of them have been like an actual ghost that you have to defeat, or there's been ones where like aliens have invaded, or there's ones where other people have turned traitor and they've opened a door to hell and all this kind of thing. Or or like a disease and all your teammates are slowly turning to zombies.
There's one with ninjas.
There is one with hidden ninjas, yeah.
That's a good one.
But it's really, really good fun. I really enjoy it, and I like how it's kind of different every time you play it.
Yeah.
And
it's
definitely
really fun because it starts off as a co-op. Everyone's working together, and then normally somebody then becomes a traitor, so it's then one person versus everyone else.
Yeah.
So it really shakes things up.
Yeah, no, it is really good. The only thing I would say that isn't so good is that it can't be played 2-player. It needs 3 or more players.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's true.
Which now we've moved away from our regular board game people is not so good.
Although we've played it 2-player.
We've tried to play it 2-player and we've kind of got it working, but we're not following the rules properly. Anyway, have you had time to think?
Yeah, no, it was just, I realised I didn't need to think about it. Dinosaur Island.
I was just about to say it's going to be that. And that's a relatively new one because you got it for your birthday in August.
Yeah, it's a couple of years old now.
Yeah, but I mean, relatively new to us.
Yes, yeah, I played it before. But yeah, so Dinosaur Island is the most brilliant game ever. So basically you're in charge of a Jurassic Park style theme park. It's not at all a rip-off of Jurassic Park, despite all of the really bad puns and jokes about Jurassic Park. There's a very thin copyright line.
Yeah.
So you're in charge of a theme park, and it's got different stages to it. So it's seemingly quite complex, but it plays like really, really, really simply. So the first part, you're kind of amassing kind of resources, and you're collecting DNA, and then you have scientists. And then the second part, you're then spending money, and you're getting specialists, and you're getting dinosaur cards and things. And then you create dinosaurs using your DNA, and then you put the dinosaurs in your theme park. You have a little theme park tile, and then people come to your theme park.
And get eaten by dinosaurs.
And then you have a security rating, and then if your security rating is too low compared to how many dinosaurs you've got, then people get eaten in your park, and then it's like a cost-benefit kind of analysis of, is it worse that people get eaten or that more people come and I don't have to spend money on security? And then it goes back around again, and you get more DNA, and it's just brilliant, and the colouring is like really garish, kind of.
It is a really attractive. Neon. It's a very attractive game.
It's amazing.
Yeah,
it's quite expensive.
Really
it's quite expensive, but it's worth every single penny.
Yeah. But there's a number of other games that we enjoy. We really like. We just call it the train game.
Ticket to Ride.
Ticket to Ride. There we go.
Yeah.
We've got the European edition.
We do.
And that's I really like that.
Yeah.
That's good fun.
That's really good fun.
What else?
Catan.
Yeah, you love Catan.
Catan is amazing.
Dead
of Winter.
Dead of Winter. Oh yeah, I like Dead of Winter. That's zombies. Yeah, I'm a sucker for anything to do with zombies. It's a bit like Walking Dead. Really, it's a Walking Dead rip-off, basically.
And funnily enough, the creator of Dead of Winter was one of the co-creators of Dinosaur Island.
Okay, so they're
like ripping off.
Yeah, ripping off popular culture. And Mysterium.
Oh, Mysterium.
Mysterium.
Yeah,
that was the other one I was going to say. That's really good. So that's kind of like it's a haunted house kind of story, but it's more of a detective story. But it's very conceptual. Is that the word I want? Is it conceptual?
Yeah. So you're.
So basically, one player is a ghost, and the other player are kind of psychics as such, and they've come to investigate this haunted house and find out how the ghost died. But the ghost can't speak. The player who plays the ghost can't speak for the whole game. The only way they can communicate their murderer, where they were murdered, and the weapon they were murdered with is through these really artistic they're
beautiful.
beautiful cards. They're just kind of like little pieces of artwork. But so it's very what's the subjective. Yeah. Very sort of interpretive, subjective. You kind of the ghost has to pick cards from their hand which they think could suggest a particular weapon, a particular place. It is really, really challenging. But it is really also fun. Really good fun. Yeah. Really good. Right, I think we should move on, otherwise we're going to be here all night.
We'll be here all night.
Favourite Christmas food?
Oh.
I've thrown him with a food question now.
Oh my goodness. Not turkey.
Mince pies. I think that's mine.
No.
Mince pies or Christmas pudding?
I like mince pies. Christmas pudding's good. My mum's sausage rolls.
Your mum's sausage rolls.
Or a good roast potato.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, mince pies are good though.
Mine's always the sweet stuff. Mince pies or Christmas pudding and brandy butter. Yeah.
Yeah. Brandy butter. Just eat that with it for breakfast.
I've lost where I am now.
Favorite Christmas food.
Okay, so this one's for me. How do I manage to run a dyeing business from my kitchen/home? Difficultly.
By sheer willpower.
Yeah. It's a lot easier now we've moved. We used to live in a 2-bedroom flat. That was fun. I would not be at the level I am now, which is still small, but even so, I don't think I would even be able to be half the size I am now, still living in that flat, because we just had no storage space at all. And you would have seen yesterday briefly, I think, kind of my stock boxes. We wouldn't have had room for those at all in the flat. Luckily, we have a 3-bedroom house now. We've moved. So the spare room is technically my office, which is actually the biggest bedroom, which we've got. Yeah. So that's helped a lot with storage issues.
Priorities. The biggest bedroom,
gets the yarn.
It's got a whole wardrobe just full of yarn.
It's not got a wardrobe full of yarn.
The bottom half has your stuff.
The bottom half, it's not
got
stuff in there.
Stashing.
Anyway, it doesn't matter, does it?
And the rest.
There's a lot of yarn in that room, but the majority of it is shop stock.
True.
As for the kitchen, I could do with a lot more space. We've got quite a small kitchen. We've got a little galley kitchen. Is it a galley kitchen?
Kind of.
It's like a cul-de-sac kitchen.
It's small.
It's small.
It's not as small as the old one.
It's not as small as the one we had in the flat. No, that is true. Although I feel like we had more space. We had less work surface space in the flat. We've got a little bit more work surface space here. But I could definitely do with a bit more room. But I do have a cupboard now, which is quite good to put my yarns, like all my dyes and all that kind of stuff in the kitchen, which has helped. But yeah, it does mean that I always have to tidy up. We're always tripping over buckets of water in the kitchen and buckets of yarn in the kitchen. Jazzy,
and sometimes Jazzy falls
I was about
in.
to say Jazzy has actually fallen in a bucket of yarn before. That was very funny. It's a challenge. I've considered trying to find like an industrial space, but at the moment it doesn't work because with the kids, Arthur's at school, but Jasper's not. So I wouldn't be using it enough, and they're really expensive for it to be worthwhile. We've considered converting the garage, but it's not. It's a very old-fashioned garage, and it doesn't have water,
plumbing,
and we don't have an outside drain, so disposing of wastewater would be really difficult as well. For now we'll just keep struggling through until we can afford to buy a house, and then hopefully I can get some kind of studio, which would be a lot easier. This one will be quick. This is for you. How are you handling the abundance of yarn in your home?
With ease.
Yeah, quite happily, because you're a knitter.
Yeah.
You're not having to buy yarn because I already have more than enough. And
it's especially good now. It's got its own room.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I've always liked yarn because it's just beautiful, and I like colours and stuff. So I've always liked the yarn, and now I like it more, I guess, because I knit. But I like it in a different way now I knit rather than just enjoying the skeins.
There we go.
So yeah.
Yeah. He loves it. Is it hard being apart when you go away? Oh.
Depends how long I'm away.
There. That's a really good answer. If
So,
we're going to be completely honest.
If it's only like a night or two.
It's quite nice to have the break.
Yeah, it's not too bad. But longer than that, it gets difficult.
I think it's the same for both of us. If it's like a night or two, sometimes it's quite nice to have the bed to myself for a night. Sometimes it's quite nice to be able to watch what I want on TV and have a bit of a quiet evening.
And to only have 2 boys to look after rather than 3.
Yeah, that too. But the longer ones are hard.
Yeah.
And it's hard on the kids now too, because it didn't used to be so bad. So when Arthur was Jasper's age, he didn't really notice. You know, they don't really notice that Daddy's not there. It's fine. But certainly the last couple of times that you've been away for a week or longer, they've really noticed.
Yeah. Or when you went down to Cornwall.
When I went down to Cornwall.
You went down in October.
I took them with me.
Yeah, and Arthur got really upset.
Oh yeah, because he missed you. Yeah, he misses you a lot more than Jasper does at the moment. Yeah. But you go away a lot less now that we're up here than you did when we were in London.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
You seem to have gone away less.
Yeah.
Conferences.
Yeah, that's true.
How do you force yourself out of your favourite colour zone? I think that one's for me in reference to dyeing. With difficulty.
Yeah. Where are all your browns, man? Come on.
Yeah. In fact, at Perth, one of my fellow vendors turned around and said, and she did not mean this in any way, but it was when we were setting up, and she turned around and said, "Gosh, don't you have a lot of gorgeous blues?" And then I looked at my yarn and I was like, oh dear. There are a few too many blues. And blue's not even my favourite colour, I'd say. I do find I really enjoy dyeing blue. I have quite a lot of greys as well. I quite like a grey. I enjoy dyeing them. I think that's the difference. So yeah, I would say with difficulty. Definitely with difficulty. It's very easy to kind of latch on to some favourite colours and then have lots of ideas around that colour theme. Yeah. What are our children's favourite shades? Now, I'm assuming that question means, like, what's their favourite colour? Arthur... Purple.
Purple.
Purple was the first colour that he could say.
Yeah.
And it has been his favourite colour since he could say it.
So what, 5 years? 4.5 years?
4.5, 5 years. Yeah, probably. Yeah. He absolutely adores purple. Although he is now, if you ask him now, what's your favourite colour? He always says purple, golden, or any colour apart from pink and black.
Yeah, anything that's in the rainbow, basically.
Yeah, basically anything that's in the rainbow apart from pink and black.
Yeah, I try to explain that pink is just light red, but he doesn't.
Yeah.
He's not having it.
But purple, genuinely, purple is his favourite. Jasper's favourite colour at the moment is yellow.
Is it?
Did you know that?
No, I wasn't sure. He doesn't seem to have an obviously
No,
favourite colour.
But I can't remember what we were doing the other day. We were colouring something in, and Arthur asked him what his favourite colour is, and he said yellow, and he said it a few times recently. So it's quite nice.
There we go.
Quite easy. And we are on the last question. It's a tricky one.
Oh dear.
What did you want to be when you grew up?
Oh my god. Well, actually.
Well, the question says, what did you want to be when you grew up?
Okay. So, when I was probably Arthur's age, apparently, I said I wanted to be a walking stick. So that. And then another time, I think I might have said I wanted to be a monkey.
I was thinking monkey for you when you said that,
but in terms of how I wanted to sell my labour as a grown up, I don't think I ever had huge aspirations. I always quite like the idea of being like a doctor or something like that.
Well, technically you are a doctor, just not a medical doctor.
Not a medical doctor, no. So yeah. Maybe back in my head, I maybe thought I wanted to be a philosopher. So that panned out nicely. But no, I didn't know. Very mediocre.
I think. Well, you're one of those people who went to university and then never left university because you didn't know what you wanted to do.
And I couldn't find a job that I wanted to do, so I just kept
So
going
you
back
just
to university.
stayed as an academic.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And as for me, I don't know. I don't know. At some point, I wanted to be a surgeon.
Cool. Didn't know that.
I always kind of erred towards healthcare things, I think. So when I was younger, I wanted to be a surgeon. And then when I did my A-levels, I picked my A-levels with the intention of becoming a physiotherapist, which is what my mum was before she retired. But then I had to do that, you had to do 2 sciences and something else, basically. And I picked biology because I always liked biology. And I did PE, not because I was sporty, but because of all the anatomy kind of aspect of things like that. And then PE, for anyone who's not British, is physical education. So, yeah, kind of sports. Gym, yeah.
Sport.
It's physical education, isn't it? I think it's phys ed in America, so it's physical education in America too.
Okay.
I think. I don't know. And then the other science I picked was psychology. And then I loved psychology at A-level so much that I ended up doing a degree in psychology. And then when we had Arthur, I did a master's in psychology. I did a master's in clinical psychology, and that basically taught me that I didn't want to be a clinical psychologist. So, yeah.
But it means she's very good at coping with me.
I'm not sure about that. Yeah, so I don't know really. I don't know. Yeah. We met and got married at an awkward time, and so we got married when you were in the middle of doing your PhD.
Yes.
So I just kind of got a job basically after finishing uni. I got a job working. I was a senior support worker working with adults with learning disabilities who lived in residential care, which I really enjoyed. But it kind of meant that I didn't do anything else after university. Does that make sense?
You just kind of stayed doing that.
Yeah, and then when we moved to London and you got your job, I carried on doing that. Then I started my masters. Then I had Arthur, and then things changed because we had the kids.
Then you started knitting.
Then I started knitting. Then I started dyeing yarn. Then I started a yarn dyeing business.
Yeah.
Not where I saw my life going, but hopefully somewhere that I can continue to see my life going. Does that make any sense?
Yeah, I've just remembered, I think I actually wanted to be a scientist because I was really, really good at science.
You started doing physics as well.
Science was always my best subject, and I started doing a science degree, physics degree, and I did all the sciences at A-level. And then changed my mind at some point.
Well, that's all the questions.
Probably because I realised science wasn't objective truth. Anyway, we won't get into that.
No, don't get him started. Don't get him started. That is all the questions.
Yep.
So we should wrap this up because we are looking at nearly 40 minutes of us chatting. But if anyone fancies answering any of the questions themselves down below, we'd love to know what's the largest animal that you could single-handedly cling film to a lamppost.
Yeah, or actually have.
Or actually have cling film to a lamppost.
Photographic evidence.
Yeah, even better. Although I don't think you can put photos in YouTube comments.
Okay, and also the RSPCA might come and get you.
Yeah, that too. Also, what did you want to be when you grew up? And we will see you again for Vlogmas Day 22, when we'll be in Leicester with my brother and my brother's girlfriend.
Yeah.
We'll see you then. Bye.
Merry Christmas.
Cheers. Edits. Ready? You primped and preened? Did you brush your hair?
No.
I brushed